بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي طلاب وطالبات قسم IT مستوى هاني، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في هذه المحاضرات التكميلية لاستكمال مفردات مقرر Communication Skills، وأتمنى لكم الصحة وموفور الصحة والعافية لكم ولأسركم. وبعد هذا التوقف الإجباري بسبب جائحة كورونا كنا قد قطعنا شوطا في المقرر، والآن نحن بصدد إكمال بقية المقرر. طبعا هذه عبارة عن المحاضرة الأولى من 4 محاضرات تكميلية لاستكمال المقرر، كي إن شاء الله تكملوا الفصل الدراسي الثاني وتنتقلوا إلى المستوى الثالث بنجاح إن شاء الله. المحاضرة الأولى هي عبارة عن تذكير، إعادة، مراجعة لما تم أخذه في أول محاضرة عن what is communication، تعريف ما هو الاتصال، communication also skills. كونكم معظمكم كان غائب خلال هذه المحاضرة فأردت مراجعتها لكم. فكما تشاهدون هنا في the first slide what is communication، ما هو الاتصال. تعريف، أوردت هنا بعض التعريفات المختصرة. The word communication is used in common talk usually to mean speaking. You know speaking، الكلام، or writing، كتابة، يعني oral and written، شفوي ومكتوب، تواصل شفوي ومكتوب، or sending a message to another person. Another definition is communication is an important aspect of behavior، عبارة عن نوع من أنواع السلوك. Human communication is affected by all factors that influence human behavior. So, communication is a dynamic process، عبارة عن عملية ديناميكية حركية. Communication grows and develops even if the same two persons exchange the same ideas again. The communication is not exactly the same as it was the first time because the two persons have grown and developed and changed since then. So it's an everlasting, a continuous process of change, growing, development. Here, more clear definitions of communication. So in the exam I might ask you to define what is meant by communication. So you can give one of these two definitions. So the first one here is communication is a process of passing information and understanding from one person to another. Also, communication is the process by which information is passed between individuals and or organizations by means of previously agreed symbols. Symbols here either sounds or letters. Sounds symbolizes for spoken language and letters for written language, which is a kind of communication. Now, the process of communication. What are the elements of the process of communication? ما هي عناصر عملية الاتصال؟ There are seven elements. Okay, 7 elements or factors which make up the process of communication. Number 1, source, المصدر. The sender is the one who initiates, who starts the action of communication. Then number 2, audience or receiver, المستقبل, is the persons for whom the communication is intended. For example, if you are the speaker, then the listener, the one who listens to you is the audience. Number 3, goal or purpose is the sender's reason for communicating, the desired result of the communication. Then number 4, the message, the content of the process of communication. محتوى التواصل أو الاتصال is the information conveyed Mhm. Then number five, medium or channel. It's the means or methods used for conveying the message. Now, number six, the feedback. التغذية الراجعة is the receiver's response to the communication as observed by the sender. And the last one is the context. السياق, environment, البيئة التي يتم التواصل فيها, is the background in which the communication takes place. So these are seven elements. Okay? Next, types of communication. And we have discussed this before. Types of communication. There are several different ways we share information with one another. For example, you might use verbal communication using language. Mhm. When sharing a presentation with a group, you might use written communication when applying for a job or sending an email. And I taught you how to write a covering letter for applying for a job, preparing a CV, and sending an email will come later. We'll give you two lectures on how to write an email. There are four main types of there are main there are four main categories of communication styles, including verbal, first one, non-verbal, mhm, written and visual, مرئي, مكتوب, ملفوظ, منطوق. Mhm. Number verbal. Verbal communication is the use of language to transfer information through speaking or sign language, body language, huh? Sign language, إشارة. It is one of the most common types, often used during presentations, video conferences, phone calls, meetings, one-on-one conversations, and written communications is called verbal. Continue. Types of communication. You have non-verbal. Non-verbal communication is the use of body language, لغة الجسد, gestures, إشارات, and facial expressions, تعابير الوجه, to convey information to others. Number three, written. Written communication is the act of writing, typing, or printing symbols like letters and numbers to convey information. It is helpful because it provides a record of information for reference. Now, writing is commonly used to share information through books, pamphlets, blogs, letters, memos, and more. Emails and chats are a common type of written communication in the workplace. I highlighted the most important words here, you know them. Now, visual. Visual مرئي. Visual communication is the act of using photographs, art, drawings, sketches, charts, and graphs to convey information. To convey information. Now, as students of skills of communication, you need to know two types of varieties of languages: British and American English. And of course, some of you are familiar with American English better than British English because it's the language of movies, of films, or whatever. Now, British and American English are variations, differences, varieties actually. عبارة عن اختلافات لنفس اللغة. Anyone who learns one of the variants can easily understand the other. Yes, the one who understands British English, of course, understands American English. The important thing is to be consistent. يجب أن تكون متناسق على نمط واحد. Not to use American English and then shift to British English. No, you have to be consistent using one variety and using one in any particular written document, and to keep to only one for pronunciation and stress while speaking. There are differences of spelling vocabulary, pronunciation, and stress between British and American English. هناك العدد من الفروق في الspelling, vocabulary, pronunciation, and stress between American and British English. The most noticeable difference between American and British English is vocabulary. مفردات. There are hundreds of everyday words that are different. For example, British call the front of a car the bonnet, while the Americans call it the hood. Americans go on vacation, while the British go on holidays or halts. These are just some examples of differences. Spelling variation. Look, here you have a table. British English in Britain, they call it accommodation, where in American English, accommodations. Check for money. This is the British spelling. This is the American spelling for chic, for money. Behavior, suluk. American, they omit the U. Aeroplane. Look, this is the British English spelling. This is the American English spelling. Jewelry, double L and another E here, just like this. Program. Look, Americans, they use shortened form. Aluminium. Tire for car, tire. So this is just an example of British English and American English. Okay, again, this is repetition. Now, vocabulary variations. The previous one was spelling, now vocabulary. One major difference between British and American English is in the choice of vocabulary, choice of words. Some words mean different things in the two varieties. British autumn, فصل الخريف. In American they call it fall. Biscuit, cookie, holiday, vacation, jumper, sweater, queue, line, spring onion, scallion, trolley, cart, goods train, freight train, luggage, baggage, petrol, bump, محطة البترول, gasoline or gas station, post a letter, mail a letter, shop, store. These are just some examples. Now, varieties in pronunciation. Pronunciation differences can present problems in understanding English spoken by native speakers of the other kind, depending on your familiarity with one. The sound of American R is more like a vowel. It's made without the tongue touching anywhere in the mouth. For example, British they say doctor. American they say doctor. Doctor with the uh, tongue touching the upper part of the mouth. In American English, T sounds like soft D. Water, like water, water. Letter, letter. So in the middle of a word, like letter sounds like letter. Water, daughter, boat, coat, lot of, got, later, meeting, better. So like soft D. Okay. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. See you later in the next lecture. Assalamu alaikum.